what I'm going to do is launch right into an improv tip of the month that I call dot spots. So dot spots is when you take a simple tune, and like one that has all quarter notes as its basis, and you bring to it a dotted quarter rhythm or a dotted crotchet if you're in Australia or British places where you've learned music. So basically, instead of 4 quarter notes, boom, 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 you stick a dot in there somewhere, often on the first note. Bum, dum, dum, dum. So instead of da, 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 we have da, 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 da. In other words, becomes. Now, it seems like a simple tip, but you can use this in all kinds of contexts. What we're really doing is lengthening one note and shortening the next to make up for it. So we're dotting a quarter and then stealing a little bit of that music away from the next note over. A tune that everybody seems to know that does this is London Bridge is Falling Down. So if you can't find that dotted rhythm in your memory, remember that London Bridge is falling down. It doesn't go like this. It goes like this. So we have that long note, long, short, long, long. So that first note's a dotted rhythm, right? So it's built right into the tune. Here it is again. Okay, and then... So that's a simple nursery rhyme, but we can apply it into cooler places in a second. Let's look at another tune that at least a lot of Americans are going to know, Yankee Doodle. Da da dee da dee da dee da 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 dee da. All right, so how are we going to add just a little bit of pizzazz to that? Just the tiniest little embellishment. We're going to add a dot to one of those notes. And one of the first things, the most obvious place to do that is on the downbeat. So instead of this, we're going to go. So we steal from the second note and add to the first note. Da, 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 da. Now we can do this all kinds of places. Here. Here. Or you could do it every measure. Now it sounds a little more like a fife and drum corps. You could do it on a different note in the measure. Let's try it on the third note. It really changes the character. It kind of gives it, in this case, to me, it sounds sort of, gives it sort of a Celtic feel almost. Now, you might be thinking, okay, couple things. This is just a bunch of nursery rhymes here, and Yankee Doodle Lives are not terrific songs. Well, first of all, some of us are teachers and are teaching at to that level of understanding. But some of you might be more hardcore improvisers and you're looking for a really deep tip. Let me tell you that all the creative concepts that a master improviser uses are only sounding complex and deep because they are a big mishmash of lots of simple concepts. And one of the keys to learning and teaching creativity is to have a whole bag full of creative concepts which live independently of the tunes themselves. So by thinking about dot spots, I have a named creative concept that I can bring up when I feel stuck on a kind of a quarter note boring tune. So I think there's a perception when you give a simple idea like, oh, was that all? But it's all when you keep throwing it in. It's like saying a pot of stew. Is that all that's in there is carrots? Well, yes, but also some celery and some beef and some peas, and and that makes altogether a very complex flavor. So you can think about it that way. So let me show you some other tunes. Oh, let's point out this one. A lot of method books do this tune. All straight quarter notes. Ode to Joy. Well, of course, Beethoven added a dot spot into his version of this. Right there. Dot. A lot of method books leave this out, and I think it's a shame because you may as well learn the tune that you know. The idea is you can't read that. I think kids can play what they can't read. But let's take some more liberties with Beethoven's piece. I don't think he'd mind. He was a creative cat himself. And we're at a dot spot to lots of measures here. It's just something something to play around with, especially if you're just being creative with it. And let me show you that it doesn't have to happen all on nursery rhymes using dot spots. Here's the tune, All the Things You Are. Because I come from a jazz background, maybe I'll make it so you can see a little bit more of the piano here. Okay, so it has all these quarter notes in it. Here it is. So no improviser worth their salt is going to play quarter notes all the way through like that, even though that's exactly what's on my written page here. My old fake book says that it's all quarter notes. So, you know, I'm in measure 3 there. But I'm not going to play that, of course. I'm going to add a dot spot to it to make it more interesting. Here we go. So we're lengthening one note and scaling from another. Let's put a little walking bass to that so we have a context. Actually, I may as well pull up a bass sound. Here it is, the dot spot. Here it is. Dot, dot, long, da, da, da. There's lots of tunes that use this. So you don't be thinking, oh, this is just a nursery rhyme trick. I quickly went through my fake book and found some quarter note based tunes. Autumn Leaves. Quarter, quarter, quarter. Quarter, quarter, quarter. Well, it starts with a rest, but let's add a dot to that rest. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So we came in after the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So instead of delay that first note. Etc. Let's look at a couple more. How High the Moon. So I'm playing what's on the page. It's kind of straight, so maybe I'll displace those rhythms by putting a dot. One more example here in the jazz world that I thought might work is My Romance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's very square. What we're going to do is take that second measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, quarter, 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 and I'll just add a dot somewhere. Let's try it on the first beat. Okay, so I could do it on maybe the third beat. So, and so on. Until next time, enjoy your creative music making journey.